When people think of World War II in the Pacific, they usually imagine carrier battles and island invasions. But in April 1945, one of the war's most remarkable missions involved just a handful of Australian commandos and the rescue of a monarch hiding behind Japanese lines. This was Operation Opossum. A sultan under occupation. Ternate is a small volcanic island in the northern Maluku chain, long ruled by an Islamic sultanate whose authority was both political and spiritual. For centuries, the Sultan of Ternate was revered by his people. That changed in 1942 when Japanese forces occupied the island. The Japanese viewed the deep respect shown to Sultan Iskandar Muhammad Jabarsir as an insult to their emperor. When the Sultan refused to kneel, he and his family were imprisoned and harsh regulations were imposed on the population. The Sultan eventually escaped into the jungle with loyal followers and, for nearly 3 years, waged a guerrilla resistance. By early 1945, mounting Japanese pressure and growing collaboration made survival impossible. The Sultan sent a desperate plea to the Allies for rescue. Allied decision. The appeal reached Allied headquarters on Morotai Island. General Douglas MacArthur and the Dutch government in exile both approved a rescue operation. Saving the Sultan was not only humanitarian, restoring him could stabilise the region after Japan's defeat. The mission was assigned to Z Special Unit, Australia's covert special operations force, trained for deep penetration raids behind enemy lines. Overall command was given to Dutch officer Captain Karel Krol, while the Australian contingent was led by Lieutenant George Bosworth, a 28-year-old from Fremantle. The raiding party numbered 13 men, 8 Australians, 3 Dutch officers and a Timorese corporal, supported by intelligence officer Richard Hardwick, local auxiliaries and around 20 Ternatan fighters. Japanese forces on Ternate numbered only around 50 men, but more than 25,000 Japanese troops were stationed on nearby Halmahera. At 5:30 p.m. on 8 April 1945, the party departed Morotai aboard 2 American PT boats, crossing enemy waters under cover of darkness. 5 hours later, they landed on Hiri Island, just 2 kilometres north of Ternate. A trusted villager was sent to locate the Sultan. By the evening of 9 April, word returned. He was hiding near the village of Kulaba, surrounded by hostile collaborators. The rescue. Using 5 canoes, the Commandos crossed to Kulaba at night. On arrival, collaborators fled into the jungle. The Sultan emerged with his 2 wives, 1 heavily pregnant, 8 children, including his 10-year-old son Madafa, along with loyal courtiers. They were ferried back to Hiri without detection. There, hundreds of islanders gathered, bowing and kissing the Sultan's feet. Intelligence officer Hardwick later described it as one of the most dramatic scenes he had ever witnessed. Aware of the danger, the Sultan ordered the crowd to disperse. Firefights on Hiri. At dawn on 10 April, Japanese boats were sighted approaching Hiri. Almost simultaneously, a villager warned that a second group had landed on a nearby beach. Bosworth moved immediately. Charging through dense jungle, he intercepted the second landing party as they disembarked. Bursting from cover, he opened fire with his submachine gun, killing 3 Japanese soldiers. When their officer attempted to use a grenade after refusing surrender, he was shot and killed. The survivors fled. Moments later, as Bosworth approached the bodies, a wounded Japanese soldier sprang up and shot him in the chest at point-blank range. Bosworth was killed instantly. His comrades immediately shot the attacker. Warrant Officer Richard Perry, a 36-year-old from Ballarat, assumed command. He turned to the first Japanese boat and positioned a Bren gun team, cutting down several soldiers as they tried to land. The remainder jumped into the water to escape. Ternatan warriors pursued them in canoes, killing the swimmers with parangs, traditional machetes. During the chaos, Private Robert Higginbottom, a 25-year-old from Melbourne, swam out to secure a drifting Japanese boat carrying intelligence papers. Mistaken for an enemy, he was shot in the back by one of the warriors. He reached shore, but died shortly afterwards. Around 20 Japanese soldiers were killed. Bosworth and Higginbottom were the only Allied casualties. Extraction and legacy. Later that morning, a PT boat arrived under the cover of Royal Australian Air Force Kitty Hawk fighters and evacuated the Sultan, his family and the Commandos to Morotai. The Ternatan fighters chose to remain behind to continue resistance operations against the Japanese. For his leadership during the operation, Warrant Officer Perry was awarded the Military Medal. The Sultan and his family were subsequently flown to Wakehall, near Brisbane, where they remained for the rest of the war. After independence, Sultan Iskandar Muhammad Jabir Saya played a political role in eastern Indonesia, serving as Minister of the Interior in the state of East Indonesia during the short-lived federal era before integration into the Republic. Decades later, the Sultan's son Mudaffar Sia reflected on the rescue, stating that for his people, Australia was the true hero of the Second World War. Of Bosworth, he recalled simply, "This man was too brave." Operation Opossum remains one of the Pacific War's most extraordinary special operations, a mission in which a handful of Australians risked everything to save a kingdom, and two of them paid the ultimate price.